Sound good? Let's see, Eddie.
Hey, everybody. What's going
How's
on?
the audio?
How are you today?
Good.
Yes.
What's up, everybody? Happy
Yes.
Friday,
Michael
everyone.
Mondragon here from Type Thursday Phoenix. We have Matheo Cadena from Type Thursday Los Angeles. If you're out there, give us a like and a follow. Let us know that you're out there. And we are talking about Adobe MAX. We're talking about Martino Flores' LA Letter Walk. We're also going to be talking about Type Thursdays. Matheo, tell us about your Type Thursday.
Yeah, so just a couple days away, 6 days away, everybody. We've got Type Thursday Los Angeles happening November 20th at HMCT Art Center College in Pasadena, for those who've been before. And Type Thursday is a monthly meetup for people who love letter forms. So if you love typography, we have 3 presenters show work, and audience gets to give feedback. So as an audience member, you actually get to interact in this particular format. And if you've been to any other events before, you usually don't get to participate like this. So check out Type Thursday. It's very unique in that regard.
Yes. And we are going to be live and in color on November 20th. Well, yes, a lot of color here. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. This will be our last event of the 2025. So please, if you're on the fence about coming out and enjoying a night of typography and discussion, please enjoy this. This will be the last one of 2025. We'll start again in 2026, but we definitely want everyone to come out and enjoy the festivities. So Matheo, this was your first Adobe MAX. So
my very first Adobe MAX ever, Michael.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, give me your first impressions. I mean, I'm sure we're going to go into the bad, but let's talk about the good.
Okay. Yeah. The first impressions, it was at the LA Convention Center. You walk in, huge space, lots of cool advertisements and colors, and the Adobe MAX branding is very present. The check-in felt really cool. You get your own name badge. Your name badge has like a QR code that people can connect with you for. And my first impression was overwhelmed because there's just so much happening and so much excitement and like lots of things you can go to and sort of interact with when you first arrive. So you've got to like just pick and choose. But yeah, very exciting. I think overall excitement. It's been like 10 years of my career. I've been wanting to go to the Adobe MAX conference. It finally happened. So I was just super excited. I felt like a little kid at Disney, walking to Disneyland for the first time, like seeing all the rides, being excited. I want to go on that one, and that one, and then also seeing like where are the people going and following the people and being like, okay, that's got to be a cool thing over there too. And then you turn a corner and discover something new. So yeah. How about you?
It was, well, I mean, for me, I'm an old hat at this. Yeah, this is, I think, my like 8th. Potentially, somewhere around there. I've been going for quite a while. I've been very involved in the Adobe ecosystem as far as, I'm in the Adobe Community Experts Group. I'm also a part of a lot of the beta programs and the other things that are involved with it. I also, teach Adobe Express to K through 12. So I'm super involved. I joke that I do everything for Adobe except for get a paycheck. But this was kind of my paycheck. Because I got to go. I was on the floor of for Photoshop and InDesign, but I was also a TA for Meg Lewis, and it's just amazing. So that's a bit of my payoff. I get to go to these events and be a bigger part of this event. I joke that in the I mean, I'm wearing the sweatshirt that we got for this for the event. And there was the very first time that I went to Adobe MAX, we actually got Surface Pros. So yeah, I know, like everybody got them.
Whoa.
And, yeah, my girlfriend went with me, and so she got one. And so like we had 2 of them. And
what?
And, yeah, and then the next time we went, we actually got Fuji cameras because they were kind of. It was the first time that they actually started doing Adobe stock. So they wanted people to take pictures and do all that stuff. Yeah. So we got spoiled in the beginning. And then, the year after that, we just got sweatshirts and everybody's like, oh, we didn't get like a big screen TV or anything. So a little bit of a disappointment, but it was, I always enjoy going. So like, what were your first like takeaways from did you meet a lot of people? Did you go to a lot of the sessions?
Yeah. So first takeaways is the people at Adobe Max make the Max conference awesome, and the fact that you can network with all these people from around the world. Met someone from Vancouver, Canada. Met someone from, I think it was Seattle. Just it was very cool to see designers from all over, and also, of course, local LA people who I've seen at other events, and some who I've never met before. So I think that first experience of just being able to connect and mesh with all these creatives from all around the world just felt really, really exciting. I think the people make it what it is. That makes it super special. I didn't get the sweatshirt, so I don't know
Oh,
where
no
did I
way.
miss that. Yeah, and that's kind of my other impression was like this feels a little bit chaotic as like because we've done Michael, you and I do events every month, and when we do events, we know there has to be a lot of organization pre, during, and after, right, and throughout the events happening, so that people know where to go and like how to activate maybe different booths properly or different spaces or get the cool swag stuff. So I feel like I was missing something because on the day of there was always just kind of like a lot of guesswork that had to happen. So that was like a little bit of one of the pain points of that. It's like, well, I missed out on some cool stuff. But I just kind of was floating around talking to people, and as I was talking to people, everyone was very nice and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to this thing. And so I would just like tag along, go to a session, or like heard about getting into labs and got into my first lab. Loved the labs, absolutely outstanding. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that you're right about that. And even when I got my badge, like they didn't say like, oh, go get your sweatshirt or go. They usually give out like swag. Like there's a lot of advertisers that give out like free stuff. There was no like bags or anything, so that was a little bit different this year. But when I went to go, just even getting this badge, because I have like these little things that say that I'm a teaching assistant, but also part of the Adobe community part of this. And it's like you're right. There was like a little bit of a lack of communication on that. Although I think they did everything through the app. So if you didn't like
Oh,
follow the app, they
yeah,
really wanted you to be in tune with that, like
yeah,
to go like that QR code. You could like put your badge in there, and if you talk to anybody, they did it like that. So a lot of that was done through the badge, and that may not have been, um, uh, you know, uh, apparent at first. And it's also you were at your first one, so like everything was new and
so
everything was
cool.
out there. So
Yeah.
and the cool thing about it is, I think this time there was maybe like I want to say like 10,000 people there, but it's funny how many people that you see. Even though there's 10,000 people, you're like, oh my God, I see you again. Like
Yeah.
in the same circle. So it's a lot of fun. But like what are some of the things? What are some of the takeaways that you had from your time there?
Hmm. If I was to go again, then I want to prioritize the labs because always a lot of learning on YouTube or on LinkedIn and a lot of other platforms that teach us. Coursera, Adobe has its own learning platform and tools. But to learn hands-on at a computer with an expert who works in the industry who says these are the pro tips that are going to make you faster, I think that was amazing. And I didn't know about the labs or how to get into the labs until like I think midday 2. So I kind of felt late to the party.
Mhm.
And but the ones that I went into, I was blown away at like how professional the instructors were, how good the knowledge was, and that you could like walk away with something that is going to change the way you work and ultimately save you time, as you go forward working on these projects. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and I was working, those labs, and it was they actually. I will say nicely that in past years there's been technical difficulties because for those who don't know, the labs are you literally get a iMac computer in front of you, and you get to get in and do the programs with the instructor. And on day 2, that's when I started, my lab, and I had also on day 3. But they actually had a lot of font troubles, and they also had a lot of login
Oh,
troubles,
yeah,
for those, for the Creative Cloud, and
yeah,
then getting into Express and stuff like that. So, There was a
Yeah.
lot of technical issues. I'm sure that they've heard about that
Yeah.
from a lot of people. Um, but one of the things that I wanted to ask you was that, I mean, we're both seasoned professionals, and the discussion around AI is, I mean, it was a bit of overkill. And
A lot of overkill.
yeah, so tell me what your thoughts were around that.
So myself and everyone who I talked to who went to Adobe Max, we all had the same sentiment that, okay, we get it. AI is the new tool for us to use. However, it feels like we're just being hit over the head with AI, AI, AI. And in previous Adobe Maxes, where I was like, since 2020, they started streaming online. So I would tune in online and I would watch the keynotes. And I always felt really excited for what they were showing us, because what they were showing us would then go and speed up your workflow, or a new feature that was like really cool. This time around, it just felt like a lot of the same stuff that we've already been reading about, seeing, watching online, or already seeing released on Instagram, teased out over time, right? So it felt like we weren't getting anything new. We were just getting something sort of like repackaged and reshared and on the Max stage. So for myself, I felt like a little underwhelmed that, like, I've heard amazing things about Adobe Max my whole career, like how this is the best event for a designer to go to. And it was amazing. It was fun, but it fell short, unfortunately, because I think they were trying too hard to show us like AI integration into everything, that they missed the mark on, like really showing us maybe, workflows and tool sets, that something that just wowed us, like that wow effect just didn't feel there. It just felt like, here's a new feature release, or just, but it didn't have that major impact so that was my sentiment. What was yours?
Well, as someone who's gone quite a bit, I've seen a lot of these trends. I remember, I told you at the beginning, it was about, actually when we got the Surface Pros, the big push for that is using, I think like Adobe Illustrator,
Hmm.
it was like, Illustrator for the Mac or whatever, or not for the Mac, but obviously the PC, but it's like,
Microsoft
yeah,
Surface,
but it
yeah.
was using those, you know how like they have Photoshop, specific for the web and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they were trying to get into that ecosystem, and then it
Hmm.
was stock, and then it was, I mean, we were hammered over the head with XD, and now
Yeah.
you can't find XD. I mean, people still use it, and then Figma was like, for a moment that was a big thing. So there's always this kind of wave of
Hmm.
things that they're super pushing, or even Adobe Express can even be classified. They really want people to
Yeah.
get into that ecosystem, when they're going against Canva. And now we'll have this further discussion with all these other tools that decided to ramp up during this time.
Yeah.
And so like you'll always have this for Adobe Max, no matter what. There's always going to be something that they're focusing on. My take on it is it's an arms race right now. Like everybody's
Yeah.
loading up as far as like, no, all these people are on my team and we have all these, all this firepower. And then it's like, oh no, we have all this firepower. We're gonna go. So it's like it's literally a race, an AI race, like who's gonna
Yeah.
be the first person to scale up, and everybody wants to be that leader in this field.
You're absolutely right, Michael. I mean, it's the AI arms race between all of the big tech companies right now, because you slap AI on anything and it sells at this point in time. And there's it's just like, buy the AI wall, buy the AI paper plate. Like it's just, oh, and it will sell. Suddenly, it's flying off the shelves.
Mhm.
It's a trend. It's a fad, and as with all fads, the pendulum's going to swing, because all the things that it's promising are not delivering. And as more people pull back the sort of magic curtain behind AI and they look at what did it take, like Coca-Cola, for example, like Stefan Booker just sent me this great TikTok video of someone being like, Coca-Cola, when they did that AI ad, it actually cost essentially more money, or just the same amount of money, to prompt over hundreds of times to
Mhm.
try and get this to look okay enough to share.
Yeah.
And if we had just hired an expert who could have done it in an hour, and an expert special effects to do another hour, we would have had it done. but we wanted to, the appeal was do it with AI, but it took forever because this tool it's not quite there yet. It's got a lot of issues. So I think there's a big overpromise that's happening in the industry. The other thing that you hit on is that like every feature that Adobe released was blow for blow the same features that Canva already released in their AI tool set or in their ecosystem, or that Figma's already released in its big conference and its ecosystem. And so what I was seeing is, Adobe's trying to play catch up with the industry. And it used to be it always felt like Adobe was leading the industry into the future. Whereas now it feels like Adobe is trying to play catch up with the other, players in the market.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that, what you're saying before, there's no like real blow away thing, but there was blow away things that would have been blow away in the past, like the fact that Photoshop has Nano Banana and other models in it. Even like one that I think that is just as good as Nano Banana is Topaz. So Topaz, it's like the upscaler, also the denoiser, which I paid for a couple, years ago, and now it's just in Photoshop. So like those are big deals as far as production. But I feel like as a professional, like my opinion is ass, but it's like I think that their target market is the people that don't use Adobe tools or are trying to get young people or people that don't use it or are using something else into that ecosystem, which is totally understandable. But I feel like you're right. I want to be more productive for what I'm doing, but then again, these AI tools are seen as taking the steps out of, well, let's go back here. I actually want to go back to, I'm going to pull this up again. So ideate, create, and produce faster than ever. That is the tagline here. So it's really about like doing all this stuff faster, not doing it better, not doing it with more creativity or using your natural ability or talent. It's just doing it faster. It's like, I use the microwave, analogy a lot that, a microwave can cook food faster, but does it make better food? Right? Or does it create a restaurant experience? So, these things are great. They're taking out the steps, but is it really honing in on creativity?
Yeah. And I don't feel like it is. And as I talked to everybody who was, after the keynote day 1 and after the keynote day 2 and after the sneaks, the sentiment to every designer I was talking to in the room was, yeah, that was really cool, but that was too much AI. And I also am not seeing what can I take into my daily process tomorrow that I can actually use, right? And there's some stuff that we can see that's going to speed up my workflow, but just a little bit, it's for if that's the promise is that tagline, then they fell short, right? And you're right. The other thing is like, this is the creative industry. We flew all over the world to come to LA to talk about empowering you as creatives, to now then show you how we're taking away the power from your creative process.
Yeah.
Not having to use creativity anymore. There was even a keynote day where the guy was showing how he was iterating with like YouTube people's comments, taking a concept he had created in AI and then turning that into a whole new ending. And for me, the end result of what he made felt pointless. It was all a big AI demonstration. So the end video that he made, even though it was cool to see him incorporate feedback from his audience, and it was trying to be funny, but it felt childish. Like it felt like we're the room full of creative professionals who flew all over, who came from all corners of the world, who do this as our profession. And what you're showing us today feels like it's reaching an audience of 10-year-olds. And this is the MAX conference. So where is the level of professionalism that has been the bar for so many years? And the bar has been set by the legacy MAX conferences. I've heard about them through my friends at AIJLA, through my friends at Type Thursday, through my friends in the industry who work for Adobe, like who've been through you, who've been to all these for the past like decade.
Yeah.
So I felt like something was amiss this time around. Yeah.
But in fairness, I believe that AI is actually going to do one thing positive for artists is make us better artists. Because if you think about it, I think that a lot of the things that we're doing now is, especially with AI, it's to convince people that we're artists.
Yeah.
Make it faster, make it more polished, make it this, make it that. And I think that one of the things that I kind of forgot about as an artist, as a someone who makes things, is that my unique slant in the world, or my view and what I make in the world, um, is very unique, and it doesn't need to be polished. It actually needs to be a little bit roughed up. It needs to be imperfect. An analogy I use a lot is, if the Eagles had Pro Tools, they'd still be working on Hotel California,
Oh yeah.
and it was a perfect, for what it is, for all its imperfections. And I
Yeah.
think that the more stuff looks polished, the more that something that's handmade, or something made, with humans behind it,
Mhm.
um, is actually going to be, you know, I won't say valued just as much, because there's a lot of, it's been devalued quite a bit. But I feel that I need to do more hand drawn art
Yes.
and bring it into computer world. What I used to do, what really made me passionate about art in the first place.
That's a really good point, Michael. And that's why we just did a workshop with our friend Aspasia Kusulas, right? Because she did a hand lettering workshop, nothing on the computer, everything was by hand. And the goal was to inspire that creative in you, that when you were a kid, you picked up a pen and paper and you drew naturally. And over time you're like, well, maybe I'll try to be a designer and make a living because I love creating. And then over time, the capitalistic society and world sort of got us all on the computers and digitized everything. So nothing's being done by hand anymore. And now I think what we're going to see in this, to your point, hopefully the new trend will be sort of going back towards handmade. Things that are handcrafted will have a higher value than the things that look machine perfect, you know?
Yeah, and we can tell, like, right away what's made by computer. And that's also, like, even with Photoshop or Illustrator or anything that we use. I always try to, one of the things I learned very early on in my career was making something that didn't look computer generated. So, drop shadows, like, people would be too heavy-handed and they'd be too perfect. And actually, the light sources being off would actually be a good
Yeah.
thing, because that shows imperfection. But yeah, I didn't want it to, like, a big trend was the bevel and emboss. We
Mm.
would always put that bevel on everything, and then a drop shadow. Had to bring it off the page. And now when I do my work, I actually don't use drop shadows, because
Yeah.
it looks dated, and it's harder to make something look good on the page, and you have to use other techniques to actually make it look sharp, or give it
Mm.
some dimension. So again, that's part of being an artist. And we rely on the computer so much.
Yeah.
Now we're relying on it too much, I believe.
Hmm. And I think there's going to be a balance, because like we're not going back, that's for sure. We're only going forward, and like the Pandora's box has been opened with AI, and so it's
Yeah.
going to be integrated into everything we do. And in some areas, hopefully, the greatest goal will be that, like, if this is the greatest tool in the world, it will help us solve the biggest problems in the world, and it will also like help humanity at large. Unfortunately, the reality is what we're seeing so far is just like entertainment mush and schlop, AI schlop everywhere, and the push for more AI schlop getting out there. And I think it's like fast food. The more you eat fast food or high sugar foods, like eventually your body's going to get sick and reject that. Like
Mhm.
you still need whole foods, you still need whole grains, you still need nutrients, right? Not just pure sugar. And like AI right now is like we're eating a lot of sugar, and your body's going to be like, ugh, I'm getting grossed out. I'm starting to feel sick from all this. So like visually, there's going to be a rejection to what we're seeing when it comes to this AI swap. And I think we're starting to see that trend happen now, and the pendulum hopefully start to swing back, because the other thing that AI keeps promising is we're going to make you a bunch of money. We're going to make you so much money,
Oh,
hand over fist. And it's not happening. Like
no.
everyone who's deploying AI right now is actually probably finding that when we let go of the humans, who are doing the job, and we just try to replace them with purely AI and say somebody else to try to use that AI to do their jobs, well, we're losing money.
Yeah. And you know, if looking back on it, if someone were to say like, "Oh, I'm going to sell water," and they're like, "Well, water?" It's like, you know, there's water fountains. You know, it's like, you know, the perception of water, right? It's like it's everywhere. It's blah blah blah. But like people have done it. I remember like I think 50 Cent like went into the water business, and you know, he's like he made a whole bunch of money on doing that. It's like you can reinvent water, right? And it's like, and there's different ways. So you're
Yeah.
right. It's like I say that AI is just a tool. It's making cotton candy right now, and everybody loves cotton candy, but you can't live on cotton candy.
Yep.
Um, but it's also not about the tools as well. Like if I had, I think we said it before. It's like if I had $1,000 hammer, doesn't mean I can build a building. You know, it's like it doesn't matter. It's or a $1 hammer. What can I build? I don't know how to build anything. So it's like it doesn't matter. But like you went to some of these labs that talked about, or not labs, but
The
this
sessions.
discussions about, you know, the industry, about how to make money. So what were some of the takeaways from those?
The sessions really felt underwhelming. Again,
Mm,
I feel like that's where Adobe Max didn't do a great job this time around. And the AI sessions, especially, didn't feel like they brought any value. You know, I've what you've read in an article or watched on a YouTube video or Instagram reel or TikTok or YouTube short is kind of what was on stage.
mm,
And so it didn't give me a new perspective, and it didn't give us new insights, and it didn't give us anything actionable. And when you are, you know, at this conference where you pay a lot of money to get in, or you spend a lot of time to get in and go and be there, you're expecting to get some value out of these conversations that are happening in front of you. And if they're not delivering that some value, it becomes really disappointing really fast. I also sort of tested this with other designers who went to the same similar sessions, different days, asked them their feedback. What did you feel? What did you think? The same sentiment. I wasn't gaining any new value or insight out of the conversations that were happening. That was definitely what it boiled down to. Now, there were some sessions that were standout, and those where I'm like, I wish they would have emphasized this particular sessions more. And you know, one of them, it was Valentina de Filippa. I'm probably butchering her name. I apologize. She's amazing, and her
mm,
work she's doing is absolutely outstanding work. And the conversation was unsuspecting. If you just saw the title as a designer, you probably were like, nah. I kind of felt like there's something drawing me to this. And it was learning to speak data, right? And so I went to this session, and she blew me away. She blew me away with like how she's been able to use design and Adobe and the software tools like Adobe Illustrator, and to sort of conceptualize how we can re-represent data visually for the human brain to inspire emotion to drive people to action. And here's all the ways in which she's done that throughout her career with these really important data sets that have an impact in the real world. So I was amazed by her message, her work, and how she's leveraging her creative abilities, right? Because she was, she said, as a kid, I love to draw, I love to sketch, I love to visualize things and ask questions. But she's like, for me, was such an inspiration because she's combining that childlike joy for creativity, found a professional way to sort of make means to live, and then also combine that with modern technology, data science, and creativity
mm.
to inspire people to action, right? And everyone who I spoke with after that session, like some of us were in tears. I was in tears at the end because she ended on a beautiful note, and everyone felt so inspired and ready, you know, ready for what's next and wanting to do more. And she did not include or incorporate or have to like hammer us with AI in any way. Like there was, I believe, zero mention of AI in her project, which is amazing, right? Because that's kind of how it should be. Like we don't need to know that. We need the inspiration as humans, you know?
Yeah, and this whole thing, I mean, this whole full circle of like, you know, I had to figure out like what who I wanted to be as an artist. I've always been searching for it, and I've kind of fallen into things because of my curiosity. And I find myself not so curious about AI, although I will implement it. There's times when I definitely will use it.
Yeah.
I use it chat GPT every single day, which is fantastic, but I don't use it for my art. Although I won't say I don't use it, because I actually it is going to sound a little backhanded, but I actually experiment. It's only because I need to teach it. And
Yeah.
so I need to know what's going on with it and how it kind of works and how it can be effective for people going forward. What we used to do, what we will do in the future. So I dabble. I will say that. And um, but the one thing that I loved about and I didn't get to do this enough. I will be 100% honest about this. I was actually very distracted because I'm still teaching. I'm going to school as well. But I didn't get to enjoy the interactions um, with people enough. But on our what was it, the first day or the one of the first days? Yeah,
Yeah.
so we did have some great interactions. So we actually got to see each other, and we went on Martina Floor's LA letter hunt. And so for those who don't know, Martina Floor is a master letter maker, typographer, and she has fonts, and she's amazing. Please follow her on Instagram. We'll definitely tag that in here. But the great thing about Martina is she's been at Adobe MAX before, and I saw her I think in 2017, and she recognized me from that, and just from being in Instagram and following or like sharing her work.
Yeah.
But she remembered me from. She goes, "Oh yeah, you were sitting like in the front row, and there's like 400
That's
people in her
right.
session. It's so crazy."
So crazy.
But
That's
that's
awesome.
how the connection that if you just show up and just keep on going. And even Jenny is a perfect example. When during
Jenny.
during COVID, we went to broadcasting type Thursday, and she jumped on, and then all of a sudden I was teaching at Chapman University in Orange, California, and that was her first year. So we were in the same orientation.
Oh my
So it's
gosh,
weird
that's
how these
crazy.
circles go around. But tell me about your experience here. And I said this to you. I think Jenny said that she sent you this as well. Are you glad that you went? And I'll do a leading question. How great was it? And tell me more about your experience here.
Okay, so Martina Floor, my respects to you. You are amazing because you planned this live letter hunt in LA that brought the inner creative kid out of me and all the people who attended. So Adobe Max, if there's one thing that you could do, you could bring Martina Floor to make a special event, because she had carved this out the day before Max had taken place, and in downtown LA where Max was taking place. So it was very well timed, and it was inspiring, and zero talk of AI, and it
Yeah.
brought all of us together. I had a blast. I had a great time. I learned so much from her. I had seen her on Instagram because Michael had shared her work with me. Saw she was, really knowledgeable in the area of typography, so I followed her. I didn't see too much going on after the fact because I got really busy. But when I met her in person, oh my gosh, she's just such a lovely person to be around. Wonderful energy and so knowledgeable. And she's just one of those folks that creatively starts a fire in your soul for everybody who's a creative, right? Because we all can geek out and nerd out. And I think I left feeling like I want to make, I want to do, I want to create, I want to act, and I was like, it's the end of the day. So I was like, I got to go to bed and wake up for Max tomorrow. So I didn't
Right.
quite get to
Right.
do that. Right. So, but I left feeling so inspired and excited for what we can do. And yeah, for me, it was, and then seeing Jenny Family Locarno there, it was, and then you, and then Espacio was there. So it was like a group of us from our Type Thursday network, all in person for the first time in a long time. We hadn't actually had that opportunity to be together, and this brought us together. It felt like such a full circle moment in my career to see like, oh my gosh, all these people who we've worked with throughout the years coming together for Martina Flores live letter hunt, and all of us geeking out about letters in downtown Los Angeles, admiring the beauty of the architecture and the letter form usage there. It was a great experience, Michael. What
Yeah,
about you?
we have a whole show when it comes to like just showing the things that we saw that day, and it was because I've always wanted. I mean, I lived in Los Angeles for 27 years, and I've always wanted to do that. Just walk down Broadway or any of those streets, and take the time to take pictures of the signs there. Let me show you this one. But we will definitely go over this because there's too much to be seen, we could probably just do a little live broadcast. So one of the thrills about this was we got to see this, and I was so glad that we actually saw it. This was the very last stop of going down Broadway in downtown Los Angeles, and I was hoping that we stopped here for a specific reason, and that reason is this. For those who don't know what famous place this is, it's actually this. It was in Michael Jackson's Thriller. Okay, and the reason if it starts at the top and it pans down,
Yeah.
and yeah, Michael Jackson comes out of there with Honoré, and then obviously even the Thriller, that's even like a great title treatment, right? And if you look on there's the posters, the Vincent Price is on here, so you see a lot of the stuff that you probably hadn't seen. There's American Werewolf in London back here. So a lot of these great key art things that you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And again, there's that sign. It's still there. And there's that underneath, because I remember that underneath, seeing that, I think it's, yeah, that X right there underneath.
Yeah.
Yep. You can see that underneath there. It's still there. After all these years, I mean, this was 1983, 4. And so a long time ago, but obviously you remember this is iconic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to Michael Jackson. My mom would always play his music, and I got hooked as a kid. One of my all-time favorite artists. Dance around the house, watch the music video, dance the music video, trying to do the choreography. If I wasn't going to be a designer, I'm going to be a dancer or like a music video producer, because I loved the way Michael Jackson did his treatments with his music videos. He treated them like movies and cinema, and so he worked with some of the best talented people for the cinematography and the directors, and so the way it was shot was artistic. And so every time I would see a Michael Jackson come on TV, I would just pause and stop, and like any of the music videos I would just admire. So the fact that I was sort of studying this work, probably prepping me to get into design and visuals, like then to see it live in person, and I had no clue. Like you said, I've lived in Los Angeles many years as well over here, and I didn't know, that like, boom, that was right there. It's sort of in our backyard. I probably walked by even before not knowing what that was.
Right, absolutely. And that's why I was so glad. I was so glad to be able to share that, because it was such a that's where this tour ended, and I was like, I was so glad I could fill that in. It's it was like the fireworks show. Like, you guys don't even know what you're looking at right now, and I literally had it on my Google Calendar for my Google Maps for the longest time, because I have all these little places that are famous in film and music videos as well. But the things that we would look at when we were like looking at these signs, which when you take the time to actually look at this, like that P is so unique, and then the cursive ALA, just even like the single story A's. And then, the way that it locks up with the C, but then that E is actually, I think that's a capital E. Yeah. So it's unique, but it's perfect.
And it descends down the baseline to pair and balance with the P. So it's funny because at first glance, we just walk by, right? And like anytime, if you've ever been in anything that looks like this in person, in LA specifically too, we always just sort of walk by fast to wherever we're going, our destination. But like to walk through with Martina Flor, and like the eyes and the perspective that she has, and like all of us are, type geeks, and to sit in here and talk about these letter forms, it just gave me a whole new perspective to see Los Angeles from. So very inspired. Very inspiring.
Yeah, totally. And even, it's not typography driven, but it's like, if you see above here, there are some unique little statues that are above this. The Orpheum is right above this or right near it, and so like all these statues are really unique too. And I took pictures of them. I would have never seen them had we not just been standing there for an extended amount of time. So
Yeah.
it was very inspiring just to see this. And again, when we talk about like history like this, AI, one day may be able to do all this, but it's the subtle nuances that make these so great, and the fact that it's neon is another aspect of this. They look different in the daylight, but also look different at night. So, just fascinating work and considerations, and that's why I think typography is a superpower. I don't think AI is going to catch up. It might catch up soon. Who knows? But it's like I still think that the fact that we love typography and see these things that would be invisible to the world and celebrate them is special.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it just brings out the like inner child in us that fell in love with creativity at a young age and makes you want to like go and create and make more. So Martina, Flora, if you're listening, we need to plan another trip to LA with you, and Michael will come back, and Jenny, and bring all of our friends together and do something in LA or even another city. Maybe, I know Phoenix has a lot of great stuff to look at too. That would be
There
fun.
you go.
So
You can make it happen. Well, Matheo, tell us about Type Thursday, November 20th. Where's it at? How can you get involved?
Yeah. So Type Thursday, November 20th, it's going to be hosted at HMCT at Art Center in Pasadena. So you can follow at Type Thursday LA on Instagram, and you will see all of our posting there. You can find the tickets there. The early bird campaign ends tonight at midnight, so grab your tickets while they're on sale. And the best thing about Type Thursday, if you saw the Adobe MAX conference, if you saw the AIGA design conference, those ticket prices are very steep. They're expensive. And what you pay for is the people in the room and the networking a lot of times. Every month, we have this affordable event hosted here in LA where you can meet those same cool people, those creatives, and you can vibe and you can network, talk pre the event, talk after the event, because we have networking before and after the presentations, meet these really awesome people, designers who are working on really cool projects, and you even get to join in and provide feedback and talk about the work you're seeing. So if you feel like you missed out on Max, it's okay. Check out Type Thursday.
That's it. And we will be in Type Thursday Phoenix, downtown Phoenix, November 20th as well. Definitely go to our Instagram. It's Type Thursday PHX. And we're on Eventbrite. Come on down. We're definitely looking for new faces and just new people to network with. But hey, if you come once, you can. We'd love to have you again. And we're creating a new and unique experience here for designers in Phoenix, Arizona, and Tucson too. We have a lot of people coming down from Tucson as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Love hearing that.
Yes, and connect with me, Mondragon Design on Instagram as well. And Matheo, this has been a fascinating discussion. We're going to have more discussions like this in the future. Where can we find you on the socials, as it were?
Check me out on Instagram, Matheo MR, Mr. Owl, OWL. And we'll see you guys on LinkedIn, Instagram. That's where we do a lot of posting. So check us out there, and hope to see you at Type Thursday LA.
Love it.
Type Thursday Phoenix.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay dry. I know that it's going to rain this weekend, both here and in LA. So if you're out there, stay safe. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.